Jason?
Let's play the blame game.
Blame it on the tech companies.
Oh my gosh. I love them and I hate them.
Okay, so when we post houses that we've listed or houses we're just doing a showing at, so many people on our Instagram account are like, how are those house prices so expensive? You know, like a 3,500 square foot house could be $3 million around here.
I mean, and even living here, it seems crazy how expensive things are. You remember the last house we owned? We bought it for $500,000. Mm-hmm. And the seller, who was this Microsoft exec, said to us, this is years ago, it's going to crash. I wouldn't even buy this house if I were you. That $500,000 house now is worth $1.5 million probably.
Yeah, it's crazy. So my first response when people are like, why is it so expensive? We are surrounded in Seattle by big tech. I actually just read an article, Jason, last week that said Seattle's economy, you know, it feels like we're in a bit of a slump in our economy, the stock market, the housing market, all that kind of stuff. But Seattle is in the top 10 for healthiest economies in the entire country.
In our neighborhood, there's 41 houses. They're all 2,500 square feet-ish, right? And of the 41 houses, there were 2 owners that were not in the technology world. It was us. And we just sold them.
And the other ones just moved.
So now we're alone. So when we talk about tech companies, think about the people, our neighbors. You know, they work at Google.
Yep.
Right? And how many, do you know how many Google?
I do have a list.
Okay.
They have a huge campus here in Kirkland where we're located. They also just built a huge campus down in Seattle. They're expanding into more of Kirkland. Right now they employ 7,000 people in the Seattle area.
So you may think that, well, no, Google's in Palo Alto. They're in California.
Right.
They are also surrounding us. It starts, but like when you go back, and this is the second company, when I grew up, Microsoft was the only big tech company around here. I grew up, my mom still lives in the same house, about 6 blocks from Microsoft campus.
It's in a city called Redmond, which is part of the east side.
And Microsoft campus, when I was a kid, we just ride our dirt bikes through there.
Yeah.
Popping wheelies.
And you know what's crazy? They've like torn down the entire campus and they're redoing the whole thing right now.
Yeah, it's a multi-billion-dollar project. But
okay, so Microsoft, I have their number.
Okay.
They employ 47,000 people in the Seattle area.
And so that means, and the other interesting thing about that, so a lot of the homes in this area are owned by a spouse or a partner that works at Microsoft, and the other one works at one of these other tech companies.
Google or Amazon, which is the largest employer in Washington State. They have, let me check my number, 85,000 local employees for Amazon here.
But what I'm also saying there is if one spouse is making $200,000 at Amazon, the other spouse is making $250,000 at Microsoft or Google, they're making $450,000. For them to pay $1 million or $2 million for a house is not impossible for them. It's actually quite comfortable.
Yeah, dual income households, both working in tech, they just have...
They rake it in.
The funds and money to be buying these expensive houses, which is driving our prices up around here. But so let's just kind of get down to the big tech companies that we are surrounded by here. We said Google, we said Microsoft, we said Amazon.
Yep.
Facebook has a huge footprint here.
And Meta.
Meta.
Just kidding.
Yeah, Meta,
Just
sorry.
kidding.
It's Meta.
No, but Facebook has a huge presence around here.
Yeah, but then we also have companies like Boeing, which is, I have their number, 56,000 local and Boeing employees around here. And then we have companies like Expedia, which maybe you didn't know is here, and Nordstrom's here, and REI is here. We have just these big name, big tech companies all around us.
Yeah, so if you're watching this and you're like, Jason and Molly are crazy. Like every house is $1 million or $2 million or $3 million. In this, East Side world that we talk about where a lot of the tech workers live, that's absolutely true. But if you start spreading out a little bit, right? If we get outside of our East Side little bubble, a little bit further out, you can find normal houses at normal prices.
More affordable.
And I know this sounds crazy for some areas. Maybe you could find a really nice house for $500,000.
Yep.
So, but these tech companies, and again, blame it on them. Don't blame it on anybody else. They are overtaking the Seattle area. That's it.